So now we're going to be looking at several different gas laws all in this one activity. The first one we're going to look at is Boyle's law, which is the relationship between pressure and volume. So we're using our lab quests here. And with the lab quests, we have a syringe connected to a gas pressure sensor. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to take readings of the volume on the syringe, and I'm going to enter those in. And as I do, it's going to take the readings of the pressure. So what we have is when we first connected this on here, the syringe is at 5 milliliters. So I'm going to take my first pressure reading, and it will record as we go our pressures and our volumes as we take data. So what I'm going to do is pull this out. We're going to do every 2.5 milliliters, and I have to be kind of two-handed here. Okay, so this is 7.5 milliliters, and then we'll keep going to 10, 12.5, and then 15, and then we'll try and we'll see if we can get 17.5 and 20 on here. There's 17.5 and 20, and then once I've got all the data on here, we will show you all the data collected by the Lab Pro, where you can see that as the volume has gone up, the pressure has gone down, and you'll be able to make a graph and work with this data. Okay, so part 2 of this lab is Charles' law, which is looking at the relationship between volume and temperature. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a syringe that we have set up here. We have it starting at an initial volume of about 10 milliliters of air, remember. And what we're going to do is lower it into some water that we're going to heat up. And we're going to take data. Well, we will enter the volumes, and we'll record the temperatures by using the Logger Pro. So the temperature will go in here, and we will lower this down. And we're going to give you a spreadsheet of this data because it takes a long time for this to actually heat. So we'll make sure the gas is fully covered in the water. And then as this heats up, we'll see what happens to the volume as the temperature of the water increases. Okay, so this is the third part of the gas laws lab, and we're looking at Gay-Lussac's law, which looks at the relationship between pressure and temperature. So this time we have a whole lot of chords going on because we are measuring both pressure and temperature versus time as this data collects. So what we're going to do is we are going to use this bottle full of air as our gas, and it is connected to a pressure sensor and a temperature sensor. And this water has been heating, so it's going to go into some water that's already hot. And as the air inside, because the temperature probe's inside the gas directly, and the pressure probe's also on the bottle, as the air inside heats up, we're going to give you the data for both the pressures and the temperatures as this increases. Okay, and so since this is a container of air, it's very buoyant, so we're going to clamp it in place and lower it down so we can get as much of the bottle covered as possible. And then we'll give you the spreadsheet for this data as it runs over time.